Gonzaga, man, they're just ridiculous. They are absolutely insane.
It's pretty hard to say anything negative about a team that is blowing teams out. I mean, think about this: 85 points in every game so far. First team since Arkansas, the national title team back in 93, 94, to score at least 85 in their first 11 games, at least 85. BYU is supposed to be the second best team in the WCC this year. Now, I know BYU was coming off a pause. They haven't played for a while, but they blew them out early. Now, luckily, they came back and made it a 17-point game. Rob, do you know why that's very, very important?
Did you see how that game ended?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you didn't see it. This was unbelievable. So Gonzaga was up 23-2 in the first half. They were up by 30 for most of the second half. They pull their starters with about 6 minutes left, and BYU goes on a little bit of a run. They cut it to 17, right? On the final possession, I think it was a turnover by Gonzaga, and they throw the ball up to Caleb Lohner, who has a wide open layup with like 5 seconds left on the clock. Like literally, it is 1-0. He's standing in front of the rim, and he dribbles out the clock.
No,
he doesn't score. They would have covered if he wouldn't finish that layup. Instead, it was either a push or if you got it at 16.5 where the line closed, means that you lost that bet if you were on BYU instead of winning, which is like, it's probably the right side, ended up winning that bet, but just
yes. I got it at 17. I got it at 17, which made me 3-2-1 yesterday. I pulled my Arizona State bet after breaking the news that half of their team was not going to play last night. We'll talk about it in a minute, but they took UCLA to overtime. I also took the under after all that news, when I broke that news, and I would have won both. Well, not necessarily, but I would have won the under had it not gone to overtime. So I split on that.
Yeah. The last thing before we kind of move away from Gonzaga that I just wanted to pick your brain on a little bit was Corey Kispert. Where do you see him getting picked in the draft? Because I'm at the point where I think he's pretty much 10 to 20. Yeah. I think I would probably take him in the lottery, like the back end of the lottery. Yeah. I think quite simply, like he is the most projectable player once you get past like the elite guys where you know exactly what you're going to get.
And you know what? These days, Rob, if you can get a 6'7" dude who can shoot the hell out of it, plays hard, he's got some Joe Harris to his game. I think he's actually better defensively. He's bigger, but they're similar. They're similar in a lot of ways. I mean, they can both shoot the hell out of it. They're both just kind of, high character. Don't say a ton. They just go out there and play ball.
Yeah, and they both have like the shaggy hair with the hair falling down over the flow over the headband look going on. So it's very easy to look at Corey Kispert and be like, oh yeah, that's just a young Joe Harris. He's just he's at Gonzaga instead of UVA.
And Joe Harris is from the Pacific Northwest. Right?
Mm-hmm. He had 28 last night too, so it's very easy to draw those lines and make that connection. And if you can get a guy that can shoot 40-something% from three in the NBA, which like Corey Kispert might be able to do, you gotta go get that guy. All right, so we had 3 big games in the Big Ten. Illinois down by 15 at halftime, won by 25, something that's never happened in the last 25 years in college basketball. Indiana got a huge game out of Trace Jackson Davis and still found a way to lose to Wisconsin, although Brad Davison is dead to me because he can't make free throws and can't get that cover. And then Iowa was down 10 early to Maryland, and then just absolutely blew the doors off of the Terps. So, which one of those games was the most important, the most telling, the one that you want to talk about the most? Was there anything that we can take away from anything that happened in the Big Ten last night?
Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin-Indiana was the best game. Like the other two were interesting, and we'll go through them. But to me, Indiana had that game, and it would have been such an important game for the Hoosiers and Archie Miller and playing without Armand Franklin, and Trace Jackson Davis just does it every single night. But ultimately, it was like Demetric Trice made a huge shot, and he continues to make huge shots, Rob. And Wisconsin extends their dominance at the Kohl Center over Indiana, but Tyler Wall made 2 huge threes in overtime. Like, who is this kid? Like, I mean, 2 huge threes. Like, he had shot like 10% from 3 for the season, and comes off the bench and saves them in this game. And, not as big of a win for Wisconsin to me as it is a loss for Indiana. I mean, this was a deflating. I want to see how Indiana comes out in their next game, Rob, and if they can rebound from this one, because that's a tough one. They had it.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sums up the Hoosiers in the Archie Miller era, more or less, right? Like you get this unbelievable performance from your All-American center, Trace Jackson Davis, 24 points, 12 boards, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 10 to 16 from the field. Very clearly the best player on the floor. Very clearly kicking the shit out of a good Wisconsin front line. Misses a shot at the end, probably got fouled, and they can't get the stops when they need the stops. It would have been that's I don't want to say like a season
next, Rob. Hey, they're at Nebraska next, which it's really not the game you want next at Nebraska, because if you lose that one, you can't lose that one. You cannot lose. Like the one team you can't lose to in the Big Ten is Nebraska, and they're on the road. And again, we'll see what their psyche's like. But they started to play better. I mean, they won 2 home games against Penn State and Maryland, and had this one and could have had momentum and feeling good about themselves. And now they're probably trying to figure things out a little bit.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating. And if you can't win a game when your star player plays like that, especially when it gets to the point where Wisconsin benched Micah Potter in the second half, and it
was unbelievable. What did he did something on the bench or something? Did he get into it? I think he might have got into it with somebody or yelling. I don't know.
He talked back to Greg Gard is what it looked like. So he probably said some words.
He's got a little bit of a history here with not getting along with people. Not exactly a quality you want right now if you're Micah Potter on a really good team that has a chance to go to the Final Four. Like, I don't know what happened, but man, just you got a lot of red flags right now on you.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. All right, the Iowa result, like the only thing I really took away from that is Keegan Murray is such a difference maker for them. Like I honestly had no idea who this kid was.
Yeah,
heading into the season. And he's a 6'8", kind of like combo forward they got coming off the bench.
Yep.
Long arms, can block shots, defensive playmaker, makes threes. Like he just changes what they can do, because the issues we have with them is Iowa can't guard. And all of a sudden you got a guy who in 20 minutes a game is averaging a block and a half and a steal and a half, and it can make threes and space the floor. Like it's just
I'll give you another one. What about Patrick McCaffrey?
Yeah, I mean he's got the length. He can make some shots.
He's long. He's long. That's what I'm saying. He's got length, and at least they can disrupt in the zone a little bit more than some of those other guys. That's all I'm saying is he gives you another dimension. Mm-hmm. And again, he's only going to get better. Like I think Patrick McCaffrey is going to be a really good player like next season. But those guys coming off your bench, and oh, by the way, our boy Jordan Bohannon, since you called them out, which you completely called them out about 2.5 weeks ago, you know what he is in the last 5 games shooting the ball from 3?
What's that?
19 of 38.
Well, here's the thing. I called him out multiple times over and over and over again. It was only up to it was maybe the 3rd or 4th time that I didn't call him out. I just pointed out that he was shooting like shit. Like I wasn't like,
and you wanted him.
It's not calling.
Yeah, you're
not calling him out. It's just like he is shooting 27% from 3 on the season. That's not good.
If you're watching this, Jordan Bohannon, if you're watching this, give all the credit to Rob Dauster.
If you're watching,
he motivated you. He got you going, and now you are back to what you were, one of the elite shooters in college basketball.
Jordan, if you're watching this, you need to find something better to do with your time. Do you have anything you want to say about Illinois, Northwestern, other than the fact that Northwestern, after all that, Northwestern is still Northwestern?
What the hell happened? What the hell happened? First half, it was like Northwestern, man, okay, they're bouncing back. Maybe they're for real again. We're feeling good about them. They're up 15 at the break. And then coming out of the break, oh, my God. Illinois, 53-13 in the second half. An absolute shit show for Northwestern. Absolute shit show. And couldn't guard them, turning the ball over. I think the biggest thing listen, Illinois did two things. What did they do? They ramped up the pressure. They made life difficult for Northwestern, where I thought they were comfortable in the first half, and then Illinois got Kofi going, which is what they needed to do.
Mm-hmm. They got him going. They started making some shots from the perimeter, and the biggest thing was just like their half-court defense. Like Northwestern couldn't do anything, and go for Kofi. Like he actually made a couple of plays, like staying in front of Pete Nance on the perimeter, which is something I never thought I would ever see Kofi Cockburn be able to do. So, I mean, it's just. I think at halftime, Brent Underwood was like, we cannot lose to Northwestern. They're Northwestern.
I love watching Underwood on the sidelines.
I mean, I wish there was better analysis that we can give to this other than, Illinois got better players, they got better athletes, and they just decided that they wanted to win. That's really
I mean, I think it was a little bit of a sleepwalk through the first half, and Underwood jumping them at the break and getting them going and ramping it up and the energy and everything like that. It was the first team, I believe I saw this, the first team to outscore another Power 5 opponent by 40-plus in a half since 2013. I think that was Kentucky beat Vandy, pummel Vandy in that game.
They're the first team in the last 25 years to be down by 15 or more at halftime and win by 25 or more in the second half, which is just ridiculous, dude. I'll tell you what. When Illinois was down at the half, I bet on the Illinois second half line and I bet on the Illinois money line, and I've never regretted not making a bigger bet more in my entire life.
Did you get Iowa early when they were down to Maryland and the live was even?
I looked at it, and the number that I was being given was like minus 117, and it just it wasn't enough juice to put the money in. I thought about doing it, and I looked at it, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to do this one. Which, I mean, I probably should.